I am coming. I am setting up my space. I'm here and I'm setting up my space. So who is here with me? Let me know. Sorry. Oops. Hello. Who is here? Summers are always interesting with yoga and practicing. So let me know who's here, what's going on, what is it you need today. This is my only YouTube live class I teach now on Thursdays because I went back to live teaching, which is really amazing. I love it. So, and I love that I have this class, opportunity for people who don't live in Southern California to still practice. So who's here? I know some of you are. It's always nice for me when I know who's out there because I know certain things or issues. Yeah, it's just different than being in person. So, yoga for osteoporosis. I have plans today to focus on glutes and glute strength, which is really important when it comes to bone health. So we're going to do a lot of stabilizing work today and a lot of glute work today. So for those of you that are here, hopefully that's something that sounds good to you. God, this looks so lopsided to me. Oh well, out of balance, but not really. Okay, I'm gonna go back there. And if anybody does show up, I will probably not see you because I'll be back there. So let me get ready. All right. So let's get ourselves ready with props. For the practice, you need a blanket, a mat, and a block and a strap. And the real thing that you need the most is the blanket, because that's definitely the most substantial prop that you use in the practice, and it can be used for so many things. So getting a blanket, a strap, and a block, and then getting ready to practice. Being at home, not knowing what all the options are for props, let's see what we can do here. We're gonna put the block and the blanket off to the side. I'd like to do a spinal support and a chest opener to really stretch chest and shoulders. Take your blanket, and we're going to use the blanket in the longest position possible because we want this to be the length of our torso. So taking the blanket and folding the blanket or rolling the blanket up into a tight tube. So this can be what's going to be underneath your spine and help to open up the front of the spine and stretch chest muscles and shoulder muscles, which are really important for posture, which are really important for healthy aging and healthy bones. So let's come to a position where your body is right here. You're not on it, but you're right up next to it. Put your body up next to it, and then keep the front of your spine long as you bring yourself down onto the prop. Let your strap and block be off to the side. For some of you, you may need a little bit more support behind your head. So if this feels really uncomfortable and if your head is going down because you have some tightness in your chest, you may need to adjust this. Feet are wider than body, knees are going in towards each other, and then your arms are out to the sides. So let your arms go up to the sides. Let's begin taking some tension out of the neck area. When the arms are out to the side, You can either have them straight off the shoulders with the arms straight, or even bending the arms so that the hands are reaching up towards the wall behind you, and try to get as much of your hand to touch as possible. So make sure you're not bent in the wrists. If you're bending in the wrists, that means that you're too close to your body. So you may need to go a little farther up, away from you, so that the back of the hand touches the ground and your wrist is not bent. And come into a position where you feel a decent stretch in your body, noticing what's happening to low back. And if your low back has any tension in it, contract your core, push your belly button to your spine, pressing into the blanket at the back. That'll help to take some of that tension out of the low back. And because we are affecting the spine and the muscles of the chest and the upper body, this may translate for some of you down to your low back. So pay attention to what's happening in your body with the manipulation of the spine and this prop that we're using. Close your mouth. Begin to breathe in and out through the nose. And let's take some of the tension out of the upper body, of the neck and the upper back area. Take an inhale. As you exhale, slowly let your head move in one direction. Inhale back up to center. And exhale, let your head go in the other direction. Inhale back up to center. Make this be with breath. You exhale into the stretch. And you inhale out. Exhale in. And inhale out. Move with breath, closing your eyes, feeling your head moving down the blanket and the stretch that comes into the upper back and neck. And then finishing your last movements to each side, one time to each side. And then back up to neutral. Let your hands rest. Let your body rest. Let your weight be heavy. With each exhale, allow a little more heaviness to come into your body. Feel your body getting more heavy with each exhale. Letting go of muscular holding, anything that's identifiable, or bringing the feeling of heaviness in with each exhale. And let's bring our awareness to counting. Bringing our mind to counting the breath, following the breath in the body. Doing the Sukha Pranayama, the breath of peace. The natural sinus rhythm of the heart is a count of 6. So we're going to do a 6 for the inhale, 6 for the exhale. I'll guide you through a few rounds. Then you breathe on your own, counting 6 on the inhale, 6 on the exhale. And of course, adjusting to whatever is appropriate for you in terms of the number of counts for each inhale and exhale. Take a big exhale. Mouth is closed. Let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count on your own. Inhale and exhale. Stay very connected to counting. Present moment. Give your brain a lot of activity to do. Count your breath, stay with it, follow it in, follow it out. Direct the breath and your awareness down to your low back and count 6 on the inhale, 6 on the exhale. Sukha pranayama, breath of peace. Stay with the counting, stay with the breath, directing the breath deep down to the low back. Finishing the breath you're on, take 3 more breaths. And when you finish that last breath, give the last breath back to the body to breathe itself. Bring your awareness to your fingers, to your toes, bringing movement into your fingers and toes. If you'd like to explore coming into a fully outstretched position, stretching your body as much as you can, reach through the fingertips and the toes, point the toes, reach through the fingertips. And then flexing the wrist, flexing the feet, reach through the heels of the hands, the heels of the feet. Lengthen yourself in this position. Take 1 more breath. And then bending your knees. We're going to come off onto your side, coming onto your side. You're going to take your hand, use your hand in the ground to push yourself to bring yourself up to a seated position. From here, taking your blanket and put your blanket in a folded position on your mat. So today's practice is going to focus, of course, on creating stronger muscles and stronger bones. And we're really going to focus here in the glutes, in the back of the body, and focus on strengthening that aspect, because that is a real cornerstone of proper function, proper hip flexion, movement in your body that's going to create that stimulation for stronger bones, especially in that pelvic area, hip joint area, low back, so much right around this part of our body. So the practice today, focusing on strengthening the glutes, using some of the postures that we know create stimulation specifically to the hips, the pelvis, the low back, and even the wrists, some of the more important areas in our body for fracture prevention. So coming onto all fours, take your hands, pointer fingers are forward. Now you need to modify according to your body. If your wrists are not happy here, use props to modify or roll up the front of your mat. The thing to pay attention to here is the distance between the knees and the hands. You want there to be the same distance that there is from the shoulders to the hips. So don't have your hands too close to your body. Make sure you have enough space. Rocking forward and backward, starting to bring in some warmth into the glutes, starting to stretch the glutes. As you move back, you're lengthening your glute muscles. You'll feel that in the center of the buttocks. Keep your spine in a neutral position. You're just rocking your body weight forward into the wrists, the arms, the shoulders, and back into the hips, the pelvis, the legs, and you'll feel that in the glutes. Keep your head active, nose is pointing down towards the ground, forward and backwards with your body weight. Bring yourself into all fours. Bring yourself up to stretch your fingers, to make sure you take the tension out. We want to make this doable and manageable. So taking the time to take a break from that weight bearing that's in your hands. And then bring yourself back into the all fours position, modifying accordingly. Bring your feet so that your toenails are touching the ground and the tops of the toes are touching the ground. And bring your hands so that they're right underneath your shoulders. That's the most stabilized place to be in an all fours position, stacking your joints. Let's take the leg, exhale. And as you inhale, bending your knees, reach your leg out to the side, lifting as high as you can, and then exhale down. Inhale to lift. Keep your torso stationary. So let the movement be just the leg. Doesn't matter how high it gets, moving the leg out to the side. And on this next one, you're going to stay out and hold. Hold the leg up there. Push your arms, keep your arms straight. Stabilize your trunk with the leg out to the side like this. Inhale, and then exhale to bring your leg down. Let's inhale with a flexed foot. Sole of the foot is pointing up towards the sky, reaching through the heel and down. Inhale to lift. Exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. If your wrists aren't happy, push your body weight back a little more so you're more in your right leg or whatever leg you're balancing on. Reaching through the heel to make this even more effective as you reach up. Press your fingertips into the floor so you distribute the weight that's in your hands. And then bring yourself up, hold little pulses here. And then bring your leg down. Take another break, coming off of your hands, rolling the wrists. So if the wrists are really bothering you, you could come into a stacked wrist position. So you have your no bend in your wrists, or staying with that bent wrist position, putting a little extra pressure into your arm bones, strengthening them, demanding more. The same leg we just worked on, you're going to bring the leg back, up, to the side, and forward. So rolling that hip around in the joint as big as you can. Think of it as your kneecap leading the way. So let your kneecap do the work. And then go in the other direction, forward, up, back, and down. Really warming up the glute, the hips, bringing a lot of fluids. And then bring yourself back to neutral. Let's take a break in between. Take your hands forward. Keep your tushy in the air. Push your low belly back towards your top thighs. Put your forehead on the ground. Arms are straight. This is puppy dog, stretching your spine. Front of the spine is lengthened. Couple of breaths here. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Bring yourself onto all fours. We're going to go to the other side. So do what you need to do with your wrists. Have your knees be underneath your hips. The first thing is you lift your leg out to the side. Try to keep your torso stationary. Let it be just the leg that lifts. Feel the muscular work to do this. Spread your fingers, press your fingers into the ground. On your next one, you're going to stay there and hold. Hold that leg up as high as you can without moving your torso. Take one more breath. And then bring the knee down. And then inhale, lift up. If you need to take a break, take a break. If you can move through this, move through this. Reaching through the heel. Your other glute may be talking to you because you've already worked that one. The other hip. Reach through the heel. And then on this next one, you're going to stay up little pulses, reaching through the heel straight up towards the sky. And then release. Take a break here, stretching your spine. Hands are forward, low belly comes towards top thighs, forehead on the floor or on a block. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. We're going to do the round, moving around in the hip joint, getting that lubrication. Hands are wherever you need them to be. Bring your leg back, out, forward, and down. Try to just move the leg and not the torso. Then you have to activate stabilizing muscles to keep your trunk stationary. And then isolating this in that hip. All the muscles of the hip at work to lift the leg up in all of these areas, and then stabilizing your trunk. Let's go the other direction, coming forward, up, back, and down. Let the kneecap be what's making the biggest circle. So then that's the femur bone doing the work. One more. And then either coming back into that puppy dog for rest or coming into a squat or seated position, closing your eyes. Catch your breath and notice if there's an acceleration of the breath. Breathe down to your pelvis. And then open your eyes. So we're going to do a lunge, which is an amazing way to strengthen the glutes, strengthen the lower body. A little bit of a challenge. We're going to add rotation with it. So I want you to pay attention to this part of your body always, especially if you have osteoporosis. Right here, where the heart is, where thoracic 8 is, thoracic spine 8, one of the vertebrae, down to L2, which is right there around the lower belly button area. This area here, you want to make sure that you keep this space, that you do not collapse the space, because when you collapse the space, you're putting pressure in the front of your spine. So that's a real critical thing to keep in your field of awareness on a daily basis with all movements you do, whether you're practicing yoga or not. Bring yourself forward. Bring your leg forward. And when you bring your leg forward, here's your knee, here's your ankle. You want your ankle to be in front of your knee. And then the thing that makes this a little easier or more challenging is the placement of the front leg. If you're in a more narrow stance, it's going to be more challenge for balance. If you're in a wider stance, it's a little bit more stabilizing. So you need to choose what's the appropriate for you, the wider stance or the more narrow stance. So bringing your foot forward and in the depth or the range of motion that you need for your body, take your hands, actually grab your block, get your block here. So the block there on its tallest position can be helpful if you need to find balance in your body, if it's a little bit too challenging to stay up. So all these different ways to do this, whatever's appropriate for you. Hands are on your thighs. You're going to think of your knee and your hip, the front knee and the front hip. Draw that front leg into the socket so that you're nice and stabilized and aligned. Exhale. And then you're going to inhale to bring yourself forward. Exhale to come back up. So you bend the front knee deeper and the hip joint deeper to come forward. And then you bring yourself back and up. You come forward. And then one more. You're going to come forward. Stay forward. Push that front heel into the floor. You could put your hand on the block if you need, or keep both of your hands here. Let's take the hands up towards the sky. Push that front foot into the floor a lot. Really working that front glute. Hands are up in the air if you can. Take one more breath. And then you're going to take the block, if you have it, bring it forward. Take your hand on your thigh. If you do not have the block forward, you just keep your hands here. Long spine, maintaining that distance between lower ribs and belly area. We're going to rotate our trunk over that front leg. So you could keep your hands here, or you could bring your elbow onto the inner knee. Take your hands together. Make sure you're maintaining that space between lower ribs and lower belly. If you want to go a little deeper and work that back hip joint, flip the toes under, lift the knee off the floor. Push that front heel into the ground, long spine and rotated. Take one more breath. To come out, you bring the back leg down. You keep that space in the front of your spine. You bring yourself back to neutral, and then all the way out, coming all the way down. We're going to go to the other side. Block comes over, front leg comes forward, making sure that the front ankle is in front of the front knee so that when you come forward, you have stacked joints of knee over ankle. You don't let your foot be closer to your body so that when you come forward, your knee is forward of your ankle. That's important because it does a lot of damage to the knee. So you're either here with your hand on the block as you come forward with the inhale, or you bring your hands onto your thigh. Your choice. Do what's appropriate for your body. And then on the next one, you're going to come forward. Push that front foot into the floor, draw that front leg into your body. Bring your arms up towards the sky, pushing that front heel into the floor a lot, working that front leg glute. Take one more breath. We're going to add a little rotation to the trunk, rotating our trunk over that front leg. So you may do it like this, lengthening your body and rotating over, or you may do it like this with your elbow on the outside, taking your hands together, keeping your spine nice and long. Really push that front heel into the floor, working that front leg glute. If you want a little bit more work for the back leg and the hip, you can flip your toes under, lift that leg off. These are all different levels. You choose what's appropriate for you. Make sure you maintain space between right below the heart and right below the belly button in the front of your spine. Take one more breath. Bringing your leg down if it's up, bringing your body back to neutral, bringing yourself out, and then come all the way out into a rest position. Closing your eyes, catching your breath. Take one more breath. And then open your eyes. So nice warm up sequence. You may already feel all the work that's taking place in the muscles of the lower body through that warm up sequence. Let's come down onto the ground, stretch our legs, prepare the muscles of the legs to do a little bit more work, getting the glutes very active. So putting the blanket at the top of your mat. And then we'll do a posture to actually strengthen our core to help with all the work that we're about to do for our glutes. So this is called Navasana or boat posture. And it is a strong hip flexor posture and core. What you want to make sure doesn't happen is you do not collapse your chest at all when you're doing the Navasana. So either sit on a blanket if you need, if it hurts to sit on the mat, or sitting on the mat, whichever is good for you. Then bring your legs back, bring the legs up. We're now balancing on the spine. Elbows are out to the side. You're holding on underneath, and you're as broad across the chest as you could be. Heart is lifting. If you would like, you could contract your core. So imagine there's a big juicy navel orange in your belly, and you're squeezing the juice out of your orange. And then start to let go of holding on to your legs so your body can maintain this. Take your arms to the side, really reaching through your chest, pressing your heart up. Deep breaths through the nose. And then go ahead and bring yourself out of that. Take a break, bring yourself forward. Take your legs pretty wide here and hold on to your lower legs so you can get a really nice long spine. Taking a break, catching your breath. Move your head side to side if you develop tension in the upper back. Then we're going to bring ourselves down onto the ground. So come to the side, maintaining that space between lower ribs and heart, or lower heart and belly. Bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. Let's stretch our legs. Take your legs up towards the sky, doing a little bit of warm up for the hamstrings to bring some blood and fluid to the hamstrings. We're going to stretch this muscle group here. We're going to pull on the pelvis to create stimulation of the pelvis and stretch the back of the legs so they'll be receptive to the work we're going to do for the glutes, hamstrings, back of the body. And then both legs at the same time. Reach through the heels. Hold your legs up in the air if you can with straight legs. A little bit more challenging if they come right off your pelvis. This again is core work. Take your fingers, press your fingers on the lower part of your body. Feel those core muscles activating to hold your legs up in this position. And then go ahead and bend your knees, draw your knees in, rock side to side. Take the strap, bring the strap on the right foot. So the strap is on the right foot, put it on the arch, center of the arch. Now this is important. What we're trying to do is pull on the pelvis. So this is not about how far back do you get your leg. It's not about that. It's how can you pull on the pelvic bone as much as possible. So hold the right strap in the right hand, wrap your hand around. Left strap, left hand, wrap your hand around. Be pretty high up the strap. Your elbows are bent, they're not on the ground. Pull your leg down to deeply root that leg in the hip joint. So you feel a lot of pressure of your tushy pressing into the ground. And then create a lot of tension in your leg by firming up the muscles and push the leg away with the muscles of the leg. Now we're going to enter the posture. Straight leg. You need a straight knee. Even if your leg needs to be far away to be straight, whatever it needs, you want a straight knee. So we're pulling on the ends of the muscles where they attach to the bones. Pull down, push away, and let's come into the posture. Pull the leg towards the wall behind with all of that action. Pull down, push away, pull back. Feel that tension behind your leg, right where your leg attaches to your body. Feel that. Pull down, push away, pull back. Try to feel a lot of tension right where the leg attaches to the body. Pulling on the hamstring muscle where it begins. The origin of that muscle group right attached to the pelvis. Create bone building stimulation in your pelvis. Pull down, push away, pull back. Take one more breath. And then release. Now we're going to stretch the inner thigh muscle, the inner knee joint, and the inner part of the pelvis. Take your hand, wrap your hand around the strap and slide it down. If you have a block, well, we all have a block, right? Grab a block or a bolster, a pillow or something. And the closer to your body, if you don't have a lot of flexibility, a little farther away from your body if you do. You want your leg to stay pretty high here. You could straighten the opposite leg. It will help to keep your pelvis stable. Pelvis stays where it is. The hip lights point up to the sky. The heart lights point up to the sky. As you push into your strap, lengthen your leg out to the side. Keep it pretty high as you bring it out to the side. Maybe it rests on the block, maybe not. Both buttocks stay on the ground, pushing into your strap and pulling the strap up to the wall behind you. Feel that stabilized pelvis. Both buttocks are on the ground. Squeeze your orange to maintain that in your body. And the foot is moving towards the wall behind you. You're not just hanging out here. Work in this posture the whole time. Push the foot or the straight leg down to the ground and then draw that leg towards the wall and push it away from your body at the same time. Create a lot of tension here, a lot of stretching. Pull on your pelvis. Take one more breath. Bringing your leg back up to neutral. Let's switch legs. Bring the strap onto the left foot. Hold on to the right strap in the right hand. Wrap your hand around. Left strap in the left hand. Right leg could stay straight or bent. It's up to you. Pull that leg down strongly and firmly so you feel that left buttock in the ground. Feel that. Keep that leg straight. Now push that leg away with the muscles. So you're pushing it away, you're pulling it down. And with all that tension, let's enter the stretch. Pulling the leg towards the wall behind you. Pulling down, pushing away, pulling back. Leg is straight, knee is not bent. Feel that pull of the hamstring muscle group on the pelvis. Pull down, push away, pull back. Lots of tension, not hanging out at all. Make it uncomfortable. Pull down, push away, pull back. And then go ahead and release. We're going to come into the adductor. So move your body if you need, so you could get lengthen your leg. Put the block to the side, closer to your body if you need it, a little farther away. If you don't, take your hand down the strap, right hand to the right. Straighten that right leg if you'd like, or keep that knee bent. It's up to you, whatever's the best for your body. Keep the leg high. Pull down with the strap, pushing into the strap. Keep the leg high. And then lengthen that leg out to the side. Resting on the block if you get there, or a piece of furniture or a wall or whatever, but still feeling the whole time that pretty strong stretch on the inner thigh. Pelvis is stable. Hips are up towards the ceiling or the sky. Heart is up towards the sky. Pelvis is stable. Leg is out to the side, lifted pretty high and moving towards the wall behind you. Push into the strap and up towards the back wall. Feel that stretch in your body. Deep breaths. Heart up towards the sky. Feel the stretch in your inner thigh, pulling on your pelvis. That's the goal. Take one more breath. Bring your leg back up to neutral. Take the strap off. Strap to the side. Draw the knees into your chest, side to side. And then let the legs go in the air. Shake the legs. So we're going to do bridge pose, and bridge pose is a lot of glute work and it's a lot of upper body. So the glutes are going to help to unbend the hip joint, lift the weight of the pelvis away from the ground. Then we use the arms to lift the rib cage up and to bring more of a bend into the spine. We don't want a straight up and down position with this. We want to really try to bend the spine as much as possible. So let's use the strap that can help you get a little higher, a little bit more effort in the glutes and in the hip joint. So take your strap and either loop your strap. So you'd loop your strap, or if you don't have a loop, you tie your strap. Bring your feet through the loop so that you have a lot of tension on the upper legs. And when you push out with the legs, you get about a fist distance between your upper legs. So you stay hip distance. You don't want to be too wide with the upper legs. And if you try this in practice, bringing your legs in the air and you push, keeping the toes pointing back, you push through the pinky edges, you'll feel how that stimulates the lateral chain or the side body. Feet are down on the ground, moving the blanket away from the back of the head, and then bringing your shoulder blades closer to the center. So push your arms into the ground, lift your rib cage up, slide your shoulder blades closer to the spine, lift your head, lengthen the back neck, chin to chest. Walk your feet closer to your body. So you're getting a little higher here with the strap. So the arms could be bent, and try this, bending your arms. See how when you push your upper arm bone into the ground, you're able to get a lift of your chest here. That activates the back of the body, supports the back of the body, and lets you stretch and lengthen the front of the spine. So in the bridge pose, we're going to activate the back body and strengthen the back and lengthen the front. So the front is soft and lengthening, the back is active. Inhale. As you exhale, push your feet into the floor, push out on the strap, squeeze your tushy, lift your pelvis, unbend your hip, press your arms into the ground, lift your rib cage, bend your spine. And on the inhale, slowly lower down the spine, release tension in the arms, start to soften the tushy, hip joint bends deeply, tushy goes onto the ground, everything softens. Exhale, feet, push out on the strap, squeeze the tushy, lift the pelvis, press the arms into the ground, lift the rib cage, bending and articulating your spine. Moving through a couple of rounds to warm up your spine, to feel the activation of the back of your body, helping you lift your body away from the ground. Last one, you're going to push your feet in, push out on the strap, squeeze the tushy, unbend the hip, lift the pelvis, push the arms in, lift the rib cage up, stay here. Push your feet into the floor, push out strongly on the strap. A lot of effort here in bridge. Pushing the arms in, lifting the ribs away, squeeze the tushy, push the feet in, push out on the strap. Feel this in the back of your body. Push your arms in, lift your ribs, stretch the front of your spine, squeeze your tushy, unbend your hip, stretch your knees away from you, push your feet into the floor, push out on the strap. Take one more breath. And then when you come down, make it slow. So first, start to take the pressure out of the arms. Let the rib cage start to press towards the ground. Let the spine press towards the ground. Lift your heels up. Tilt your pelvis back. Try to press the low back onto the ground, stretching the low back. Bring the blanket back under your head. Take the strap off your legs. Draw the knees into your chest. Hold them deeply into your chest. And then hold on underneath your hamstrings. Soles of the feet up towards the sky. And then rock side to side. Feel the low back pressing into the ground. Bring your knees together, take your feet on the ground, take one leg long, the other leg long, and the arms overhead. Stretch your body glove. One more. And then bending your knees. Bring yourself onto your side. From here, taking your hand on the ground, push yourself up. So clearing your space, take your strap. 1 second, I'm thinking about the strap. Yeah, take your strap off. Come onto your blanket. We need our core and our stabilizing muscles. We're going to do the plank. Plank is a great posture for strengthening your body. So let's take the hands on the ground. So you could either come into a modification of plank, which would mean that you'd walk your hands forward and make sure that you are in this position where your body weight is forward and your body has to maintain this. Or you could flip your toes under and bring yourself up into full plank. So you decide. Fingers are spread. Push your body weight back. So you're evenly distributing the weight into your feet and your upper body. So lower and upper body. Then bringing your feet so that they're straight off your body. Let's do a little stabilization work. Take one leg out to the side if you'd like, up and out, using the glutes, stabilizing muscles. And then the other side. Pushing your feet into the floor, pushing through the heels, push away from the ground. Take one more breath. Then bending your knees, coming into a rest position. Let's stretch the spine. Take your legs really long. Take your arms forward. And then bring your low belly towards your top thighs. Tushy is pointing in the air. So keep your tushy lifted, pressing in the air. Bring your chin to the ground or your forehead, or put your forehead on a block. Take one more breath. And then bring your head up, bring yourself up. So we're going to do a reverse plank, we're actually going to do a tabletop, so the knees will be bent. Reverse plank, the legs will be straight. The tabletop, we bend the knees, we lift the pelvis up, hold that for 30 seconds. It's the back of the body again, so really bringing that lift from the back of the body, similar to what we do with bridge, yet we're going to come up a little higher. So sit on your blanket. Ideally, hands are pretty close together so that the shoulder blades stay on the back and help to support the chest, not letting it collapse. Fingers are pointing forward. And then if you need to modify your wrist, turning your hands out, you could try that. Bring your feet so that they're body distance, not any farther than your body, and move them up and down so they go to the neutral. Toes are pointing forward. Let's take an inhale. As you exhale, start to push your feet into the floor. Start to squeeze your tushy. Unbend your hips. Lift yourself up the way you would in the bridge. Stay here. Push your heart up. Try to unbend your hips. Lots of shoulder stretch here too. It's contract your tushy. Push your feet into the floor. Knees are moving away from you. Chest stays lifted. Squeeze your tushy. Take one more breath. And then slowly bending your hips, keeping your spine nice and long. Bring yourself down. Come into a wide-legged straddle position. You could stay back here, or you could come right out of your pelvis, pushing down, getting tall. For those of you that have flexibility of your body, you could bend your hip a little more, keeping your spine lengthened, especially the front. And rest here. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself to a neutral, to a kneeling, and we'll come to stand. So if you need to come up from here, come up from the kneeling position, put your leg forward and bring yourself up that way if that's what you need to do. Or you could come through the down dog, and that I'll guide you through. The key with the down dog is that the flexion takes place at the hip joint, that you keep your spine nice and lengthened. Take your hands forward, widen your stance with your hands and your feet. Flip your toes under, bending your hip, bringing your tushy in the air. Keep your head looking either straight down or right around middle forearms. Take the heels one at a time, pressing the pinky toe edge towards the ground, stretching the calf, Achilles tendon, plantar fascia area. And then push both legs down if you can. And then bend your knees, keep your gaze forward. Start to walk yourself back slowly, coming onto fingertips. Really deep hip bend here. Really deep hip bend. Your belly is close to your top thighs. Your head is elevated. Walk your feet so that your feet are maybe a little wider than your body. Your head is elevated. Push your body weight back so you feel it going into your heels. You feel your glutes. Take one hand at a time on top. Look forward. So this deep hip flexion is using the glutes for this. So using the glutes in this position. Nice, straight, long spine. Gaze is forward. Push your feet into the floor and bring yourself up slowly, slowly. Clearing your space, bending your hip, not your spine, to come down. Get your blanket. Then preparing your space, moving your mat wherever you need it, getting a chair for the practice. Let's get a chair for the standing part. So bring the back of the chair towards yourself. Bring the back of the chair. Let's get the block. So bending your hips to bend down, not your spine, to grab your block. Practicing proper bending whenever possible, because then it actually becomes second nature, becomes something you do all day. Because if we unconsciously move dysfunctionally and in a poor way for bone health, which is what happens, so we start to break down in a bone breakdown way versus being conscious of our movements throughout the day and how we're moving posturally and spine and joint alignment, then we'll minimize those unseen aspects of bone breakdown. Take your block, bringing your block between your legs. We're going to come into chair posture. So the toes are pointing forward and they're block distance. Don't have your toes out to the side and don't be wider than the block with your feet. Feet are forward. We're going to practice the chair. So you have the chair here for those that need that. You come into that properly aligned position, bringing your awareness to your hip. Start to push your hips back, squeezing your block. Keep your head lifted. You're going to feel that lengthening of the glutes, the stretch that comes into the glutes when you do this. Make this a functional movement for yourself. Feel this in your body. Feel that stretch. Letting the hands be a part of this now. When you bring your arms, you can go a little farther back with your body weight. Squeeze the block. And on this next one, we're going to come down and stay. Come down and stay, arms come up. Squeeze the block, reach through the fingers. Push your heels into the floor, squeeze your block. Deep breaths. Go a little deeper if you can. Lift your arms up higher if you can. Deeper you go, the more tension you're putting in the muscles. Stronger muscles, bigger muscles equals stronger, bigger bones. Better quality bones. Less prone to fracture bones. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up and out. Block off. Shake your legs. So chair posture, definitely lower body work, a lot of quad strength. These muscles, bigger and stronger these muscles are, stronger your hips will be. Let's do another posture where we're actually going to move a little. So we're going to do a warrior 3. We're going to eventually come into a warrior 3 where we come into this posture. So let's do this where we come into and out of bending the hip, loading the hip up properly. Take your hands on your chair. Do not hold on to your chair. Your hands are active. Don't grab on. Push down with the heel of the hand and stand back a decent distance. Feet are hip distance, toes are pointing forward. Then take your right foot back and then push your body back and forward. You might feel this behind your hamstrings. Back and forth. Loading into that left hip, that left glute. Bring yourself up, bend the front or the right knee. Bring your leg back and up. So it might not be as big of a movement. Bending at the hip joint, loading and unloading into that hip. And on the next one, we're going to come and we're going to stay in the static warrior 3. So you may be keeping your hands here, or for some of you, you may be coming down a little deeper if you have that range of motion in your left leg, your left thigh. Right toes are pointing down towards the ground. Push your body weight back so you really are in that standing leg. You're not letting all your body weight come into your arms. Long waist, long torso, front spine is lengthened. Take one more breath. To come out, bend that standing leg. Bring yourself forward. So you're bending your legs, not your spine. Bring yourself up. Feet are hip distance. Let's do the right. So it's going back and forward. Into that right hip joint. It's the hip, so your legs are straight. Hands are on the chair, pushing your heel, not grabbing onto the chair. And now let's do a little where the leg lifts. And you bend deeper into your torso forward. More hip flexion into a forward fold that's safe for osteoporosis. Front of the spine is lengthened, bending in the hip, not in the spine. And then you're going to come forward and stay there. Stay forward, toes are down. Hand on the chair if that's your posture. Push your leg back if that's you. Left toes are down towards the ground. You're really weighted in that right foot. Push the right heel in. Feel the right heel with a lot of pressure so that you're in the glutes. Long waist. Flexed foot, the foot that's in the air is flexed. Take one more breath. To come out, you bend the standing leg, you keep your spine long, you bring yourself all the way out. Let's come into Tadasana Mountain. Posture of alignment. Toes are either touching or very close together. Hands are down alongside your body. Push down into the ground. Reach down with your hands, back with your hands, long with your spine, chin parallel towards the ground. Stack your joints. Catch your breath, mouth is closed. Down with your hands, down with your feet, long with your spine. Take one more breath. Let's go into balance, single leg, strengthening your hip, your leg, your balance, your glutes. Push your body weight over to one side, bend your knee out to the side, and bring your foot up in between your ankle and your knee. Maybe a little wobbly, end of the practice, fatigued muscles. Take that into account. Your foot will be moving, your ankle will be dancing. Expect movement. No matter how good your balance is, that should be the case. That's communication in your body. Where are you? Where are you? Trying to activate the muscles necessary to help you from falling. So embrace the movement. It means you're communicative. Take one more breath. Bring your knee forward. Bring yourself back through center to the other foot, bending the knee out to the side, foot up in between the ankle and the knee. Push down with your hands or move them out to the side, whatever is your variation of tree. Bring your awareness to your foot, to the movement, to the ankle. Embrace that, accept it. Long spine, stay in your body, use your breath, focus on a point to help you find balance in your body. Take one more breath. Bringing yourself back to mountain, stacking your joints, finding alignment. And then release. Shake your limbs, take your legs wide, shake your body, move your body, release tension, and then bring yourself back. So going into the last posture, the posture of integration, allowing all that was practiced today to seep into your bones, your muscles, your cells, to let all of that action that we just create stronger muscles, stronger bones for you. So to clear your space, prepare for Shavasana, whatever that is for you. When you come down with awareness, with the front of your spine. Bring yourself down into the ground. Let's settle the joints. Bring your legs and your arms into the air and shake them. Let your body shake. And then bring yourself into final rest. Shavasana. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. Moving your arms, your legs, and then draw the knees into your chest. Draw the knees in deeply, rocking side to side, flattening the lower back into the ground. Feel that. And then rock all the way onto your side. From here, pushing away from the ground to bring yourself up to a kneeling or seated position to close the practice with sound. Sit nice and tall. Bring your hands together at your heart. Press your hands together. Press your heart to your hands to your heart. We'll close with sound, a gentle humming sound to settle the body, settle the mind. Exhale. Inhale. Bringing the hands to the forehead, bowing in gratitude for the practice. Pay attention each time you practice to the level of appropriateness for you. You modify, there's modifications in the entire aspect of a posture. It's a range of motion. There's no one place to be. So it's not that one thing is good or bad. It's what's right for you and what's right for you today versus tomorrow. So when you approach your practice, approach it with curiosity and awareness and what is okay, what is appropriate for me today. Can I go a little deeper today, or is today a day I need to pull back a little and modify it every day according to your needs? Stronger body, stronger bones, stronger balance for the rest of your life if you practice as often as possible and bring the awareness of keeping your posture, that space between lower heart and belly, always throughout your day with everything that you do. All right, so I still don't know who was here with me today. Mystery. Well, I hope it was good for you. And if you want to reach out to me on my website. We can have discussions. I can answer questions. I'm here every Thursday. I'd love to have you join me. Thank you for joining me and have a great day.